Vladimir Oblast is a Russian federal subject located in the Central Federal District. The administrative center is Vladimir. Vladimir Oblast is a historic region in central Russia located northeast of Moscow. It occupies part of the old Russian heartland, where many of the political, religious, and cultural foundations of the Russian state were formed during the medieval era. The administrative center is Vladimir, one of the oldest and most symbolically important cities in Russian history. The region is widely associated with ancient churches, monasteries, white stone architecture, and the rise of early Russian statehood before Moscow became dominant. Geographically, Vladimir Oblast lies within the forest and river zones of the East European plain. The landscape consists mainly of rolling lowlands, forests, meadows, and agricultural land crossed by rivers such as the Klyazma and Oka. The climate is temperate continental, with cold snowy winters and warm summers, supporting both farming and dense settlement. The natural environment is less dramatic than mountainous or coastal regions of Russia, but its rivers and forests historically made it ideal for medieval trade routes, fortified towns, and agricultural communities. The region's historical importance dates back to the era of Kievan Rus, and especially the rise of the Principality of Vladimir Suzdal in the 12th and 13th centuries. Under rulers such as Andrei Bogolyubsky and Vsevolod the Big Nest, Vladimir emerged as one of the most powerful political and religious centers of the Eastern Slavic world. During this period, magnificent cathedrals and fortifications were built, many of which survive today and are recognized as masterpieces of medieval Russian architecture. For a time, Vladimir rivaled and even surpassed other Rus cities in influence. The transfer of the Grand Princely seat from Kiev to Vladimir symbolized the political shift of the Eastern Slavic center of gravity toward the northeast. Although the Mongol invasion in the 13th century weakened the principality, Vladimir retained immense symbolic prestige as one of the spiritual centers of the Russian lands. Over time, however, Moscow gradually eclipsed it politically and economically. The region contains several towns collectively associated with the famous Golden Ring of historic Russian cities. Places such as Suzdal, Murom, and Alexandrov preserve monasteries, kremlins, wooden houses, and churches that reflect centuries of Russian religious and cultural development. Suzdal, in particular, is often regarded as one of the best preserved examples of Old Russia, with a skyline dominated by domes and bell towers rising above river meadows. During the Imperial and Soviet periods, Vladimir Oblast evolved from a primarily religious and agricultural region into a more industrialized one. Textile production became especially important in the 19th century, supported by nearby Moscow markets and abundant river transport. Under the Soviet Union, engineering, chemicals, and manufacturing industries expanded further, while collective agriculture reshaped rural life. Despite industrialization, much of the oblast retained its historical appearance and rural settlement structure. Economically, the region today combines manufacturing, agriculture, tourism, and services. Industrial production includes machinery, electronics, chemicals, and food processing. Agriculture focuses on dairy farming, grains, and vegetables suited to the central Russian climate. Tourism is especially important due to the oblast's historical significance and architectural heritage. Visitors from across Russia and abroad travel to see medieval cathedrals, monasteries, and traditional townscapes that evoke the early centuries of Russian civilization. Culturally, Vladimir Oblast is deeply tied to Orthodox Christianity and traditional Russian identity. The region's cathedrals, many built from distinctive white limestone, are among the most celebrated monuments of medieval Russian art. Frescoes, Icon painting traditions and church architecture from the region influenced the broader development of Russian religious culture. Folk traditions, crafts, and music rooted in village life also remain important parts of local heritage. The oblast is often viewed as representing the historical core of old northeastern Rus, where political authority, religious life, and artistic traditions matured during the medieval era. Unlike frontier regions shaped by colonization or ethnic diversity, Vladimir Oblast is associated with continuity and historical depth within the Russian cultural imagination. Overall, Vladimir Oblast stands as one of the key cradle regions of Russian civilization. Its quiet landscapes, ancient towns, and monumental churches reflect centuries of political transformation, spiritual development, and cultural memory. Though no longer a political center, the region continues to occupy a central place in Russia's understanding of its own historical origins and identity. Like, comment, and share to support this channel. Subscribe for more hidden corners of the world.